Hey guys, welcome back. Today I am retouching an image of myself. So this is a self-portrait that I did last week in my backyard. So I opened it up in Camera Raw and I am playing around with the lighting. I'm trying to get me the correct lighting I'd like on me, and then also the lighting that I'd like in the background. And then I'm going in with the hue, saturation, luminance adjustments and playing around with those, trying to get the colors blocked out how I'd like them. And I'm having a tough time deciding if I want the leaves to be more of a yellow or a blue tone. Okay, so now I'm opening it up in Photoshop and I will duplicate the layer and open it up in Liquify. I like to have the base shape of the image blocked out beforehand, which is why I do Liquify first. Some people like to do Liquify at the end, but I prefer to see how the flow of the image is looking before I do all the other detailed retouching. Now I have a blank layer and I am using a brush tool with a black color to go in and fill the eyeliner a little bit and make it darker. And then playing with the opacity to lighten it up a little. Now I'm taking a curves adjustment layer and brightening everything and then inverting that layer and using the layer mask to paint on highlights throughout the face. Now this is how I do my dodging throughout the image. And once I have finished all of the highlights on the face, I will continue and follow through with that same look throughout the arms and the hands. And now that I've finished the highlights, I am going to go back with the same thing except darken the image and invert the layer to reveal shadows. And this is how I do my burning and contour the face and the arms. Now this I'm just taking blank layers and using different colored brushes to paint on some different eyeshadow and highlighter on the eyes. Now I'm doing the same thing with the under eyes, just sampling different colors throughout the face and then brushing them on underneath and playing with the opacity. And it looks like I turned the blending mode to overlay for these, that way it blends into the skin more instead of just sitting on top of it. Now that I've got most of the face retouching done, I'm going in with a selective color layer, and I'm playing with all of the settings for each color, just going back and forth, seeing what I'm liking for the style of this image. When I'm doing selective color, I start from the top, which is red, and then follow through all the colors, and then I do whites, and then blacks, and then I leave neutrals for last because it affects everything in the image, and I usually don't end up changing very much in the neutrals. Now I am adding a little bit more highlight to the eyes and accentuating that catch light. Then I am filling in the little spots in the background where the leaves weren't showing, so some of the house was showing in the background. So I'm just using the clone stamp tool and taking different leaves that match the surrounding leaves and filling them in, trying to make them look as realistic as possible. So I try not to take a whole clump of leaves. I try and use different leaves from different areas. That way you can't see a defined pattern repeating. And I forgot to take off my bracelet, and so I'm going back in and clone stamping that out as well. And then the other bracelet as well. I'm clone stamping that out. And I did forget the little string that was attached to my bracelet, but don't worry, I did catch it later and go back and clone that out as well. So now I am going in with different gradient maps. And this is to get the style and coloring that I want in the image. So I just layer these on with a really low opacity. And I usually start with the blending mode on normal, and then after I've got a good amount of layers of gradient maps in normal, I switch over to overlay, and I build up a few layers like that, and then I switch over to multiply. So it looks like I've done that already, and now I've switched back to normal to brighten up the image a little bit, because when you're using gradient maps in multiply, it does darken your image. And now I'm going over the top of all of those gradient maps with a selective color because they affected all of the coloring throughout the image. I like to go back with a selective color to adjust all of those new color tones that are being picked up. And this is straight out of camera, what we started with. And then I will show you the finished image. Now there was a little bit more added that wasn't shown in the video because I forgot to record the end, but I added some artificial smoke and toned down some of the highlights in the leaves in the background. But thank you so much for watching, and if you have any questions, please leave a comment. And don't forget to subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching another video, and I'll see you next time.